Well, welcome once again to another Martin Lynch and Sons podcast. This one's a week late, unfortunately, or fortunately. Jonathan is actually moving in to his first house with his partner, Belle. I think we got that right. So well done, Jonathan, and I wish you all the very best. And today I've actually got with me the main man himself, Martin. He's standing in for Jonathan. So over to you, Martin.
Yeah, it's all my fault. Jonathan isn't aged 40 odd years nearly. He's about 40 years. Don't worry. It's definitely me. And well done, Jonathan. I know, I think Tony mentioned it a week ago that he was moving into his new house, as indeed I did on Saturday. And I spoke to him today, and he's beavering away from his loft. So not only has he moved in, he's actually working from home as well today. So isn't that good?
I mean, his girlfriend's let him have a space up there, so that's good, isn't it? But the loft, that she's pushed him up in the loft.
But I couldn't see any gear set up. But he's only been in there a few days, so let's give him a
Yeah, I think he's still working out of cardboard boxes. It's just
weren't you and I when we moved into our first house?
I've said to him, that's it now. That's all your toys gone. That's it. No more. You got no more money anymore.
He won't. No, that's right. Or he'll do what I did when I worked for B&B in the 70s. And there's my salary. There's paying the mortgage and all the rest of it. Keep the rest, Bernie, and I'll have that radio and a bit of that. And can I pay you over the next 2 years for that one?
All right, fair enough. Yeah. Well, anyway, he would normally read the news now. Well, you're not going to get any news from me. You're just going to get weird snippets. And I've got to go over to this little bit where I actually read some stuff on the interweb where somebody had actually swallowed some AirPods in their sleep, and and that really did make me chuckle. I mean, how on earth do you actually swallow AirPods? So anyway, they're actually saying to people now, don't wear them in bed. So
more importantly, how embarrassing having to go to the doctors to say I've lost my AirPods and I think I've swallowed them.
I guess they operated on him.
Well, they did, but I bet. Although, why wouldn't he have passed it? But I'm sure lodged. People have gone to the doctors and A&E with more embarrassing things.
I think they probably have.
Anyway, we won't go down that route because this is a family show, Martin.
Well, anyway, apparently they still worked after.
Did they?
Apparently the only thing that didn't work was the microphone. So well done.
I wonder where that got stuck. Okay.
It got stuck. Well, anyway, the other thing is a customer brought up this week or last week actually mentioned that the snow that we've been seeing recently is particularly weird, and apparently it doesn't melt and it turns black if you heat it up. Well, I read some stuff about this, and it looks as if this is one of those weird hoaxes that's sort of floating around. But it's caused by a particular weather system that makes these little snow pellets. But apparently there is some alternative theory that it may be weather engineering, but I really don't know. I think it's all a little bit far-fetched.
No, I think it's very, very far-fetched, and it's maybe the news was a bit thin that week. And that's why
it's a bit thin this week here.
It's a bit thin.
You've got to laugh.
All I will say to that is, when you started saying this, I'm thinking, just round the corner for me, when I turned up to a certain road that got up the M25, there was a load of snow there was a lot of water on the right that had frozen in a bush. And it was there for a good 2 weeks. It's been so cold. Of course, now we're moving forward a week or so, and not only is it all gone, but it was like 16 degrees yesterday. And I spoke to the owner of ICOM UK today, and he said he went to his works to get one of his motorbikes. Actually thought we'd go for a ride to go down to the shops to pick something up, and the battery was flat. That's another story, but it was that lovely and warm and hot. So the weather is just incredible how it's changed and early. So let's hope it continues, Gary. Although it has been raining today.
Talking of flat batteries, I've not checked my motorbike. I didn't do it the weekend. I was meant to do it on Sunday. It was just so busy. But I don't think that's going to start either. So I might.
Well, there's always after here, mate. Have you had your dinner yet, by the way?
I had dinner.
Yeah. I can hear Jenny rustling the pots and pans in the kitchen, cooking me a nice...
Rice Krispies I had.
Oh, Gary. Rice Krispies. You can tell he lives by himself. Rice Krispies. Did you read about the Lincoln Shortwave Club, by the way? Celebrating their 100-year anniversary in February. Did you read about that?
Wow. All right, 100 years.
I mean, that's got to be celebrated, isn't it? It's a very big congratulations to Steve Burke, M5 Triple Z and G6 TVP. I think they're actually interviewed on BBC Radio Lincoln. And isn't it lovely seeing amateur radio and shortwave radio getting a mention on the BBC, but 10 out of 10 for reaching their 100 years of existence.
Aren't they the same guys that do the Newark Handfest?
Well, they are part of it, of course.
Wow.
And I've got to say, I've said it before, every rally and exhibition I'm still doing 40 years later, I just love the Lincoln Handfest. What a shame we missed it last year, but those guys don't stop running around helping all the traders and setting up, without question, probably one of the best rallies in the country. So, and fingers crossed, Gary, we're going to see him this year.
Well, yeah, hope so. I just hope, fingers crossed, that they actually get this this horrible thing all sorted out, because you know, I think we all really need to see the back of that.
Do. We
mustn't let our guard down too soon. I think that's
no,
also something.
Otherwise, we'll be back where we started.
Yeah, don't need that.
We're still on news, by the way. You tell me, I'm following you.
Yeah, that's all right. It's normally Jonathan will do this bit, so I'm learning. So if this actually comes across as absolute rubbish, don't blame us. Blame Jonathan. All
you
right?
got to do it in a nice, deep, silky voice, because remember, young Jonathan is a radio presenter for Reading Hospital Radio, and he's been doing it for years, and he's a real old pro. And so you've got to sort of lower the tone, Gary, and get right in there.
Well, anyway, okay. There's another article that you actually put on this this little list to talk about, and that was Through the Waves. Someone's actually looking for funding for the untold story of Artie Moore. Now, apparently, he was the young man from Wales, or I think it was Wales. I can't actually say it. Was that Pontclanfraith? Something like that. He actually heard the SOS from the Titanic 3,000 miles, and no one actually believed him. And I was actually told he was a mill worker, or the son of a mill worker, and he had a nasty accident and chopped his leg off. And he had a wooden leg.
Well, you wouldn't have it. That's rather bad. Poor fellow.
But anyway, they're looking for funding. They're going to do a short film, a 10-minute film here, a dramatisation of this particular guy. So they're looking for funding. They don't give a link, though, I notice.
No, I noticed that.
Yeah.
However, I mentioned the RSGB again. You know, I'm a big supporter of the RSGB. We are reading the news that we've taken off the RSGB website. It's a 10 out of 10 for the RSGB and Southgate and all the others that scan all the news feeds for information that's related to amateur radio. So that's where I actually read it. I do believe. I'm sure that's where I read it. Right. So is that enough of the news? Is there any more news?
I don't think there's anything more on that. No. Well, anyway, there's what about the mystery product? Should we reveal what the mystery product was?
Yes.
Because we had a lot of questions.
We did. We should. However, there was one very important bit of news which I noticed about zero to hero on the. Oh, you've just brought that. I can see that RSGB consultation on a single nothing to M0 in one exam. I think that's definitely worth having a little chin wag.
Yeah. Okay. Well. All right. So we'll come back to the mystery product.
Yeah. I'm just pushing it a bit further so they listen a few more minutes, mate. That's what I'm doing. I'm picking this jobby up quick.
All right. Okay. Well, look, the RSGB have actually put out the Examination Standards Committee have launched a consultation to discuss the process of maybe going from a non-hand to a full
M0
license.
Full lot.
Yeah.
Advanced.
So I think this one could be slightly polarizing. I think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be for it, and there may be some that maybe not so keen. But it will be interesting to see how this one turns out.
Well, again, that's up to the RSGB again on their website news.
Yeah.
Good news feed on the RSGB website. They're actually inviting, if you have a look, it says direct entry to full license RSGB consultation. And it is actually inviting people to comment on it. And in fact, it ends by saying, we thank you for taking the time to fill in this survey. So if you have got views on it, you can do. But the reason this came about is that we mentioned the Lincoln Handfest earlier. One of the gentlemen that's involved with licensing the Examination Standards Committee said that he's often asked at Lincoln Handfest during the exams is, I know all that bit, can I go straight to the exam? And they often go away rather disappointed because the answer is no, and that's why he's looking at pushing it forward. Now, you can read all about it as to what could be good and what isn't good, and I can understand why the exams split into 3 sections, but if someone who's got a good radio background and just needs to swat up on the licensing conditions and operation to add what they already know, then I can understand the reasons. But anyway, if you want to make a comment, now's your chance. Click on the RSGB, find that heading and go for it. I think that is enough of the news.
Yeah. Okay then. Well, moving
swiftly on to what were we talking about, Gary? What are people
the mystery
really
product.
Mystery product.
Yeah, this is taking a bit of work on your behalf. This one.
This started months and months ago when we were told about a device, yet another accessory, bit like when an Apple product, which I know Jonathan will be bleating on about, and you, because you're an Apple fuck. God dear.
I've got an Apple.
Oh, don't start. I have to. I'm the Android boy, you see, and we always have little fights about Android's rubbish and Apple's rubbish. It doesn't matter, whatever you like, it's great. So when Icon released 705, you name it is making accessories. Some of them are absolute pants, others are very good. And this particular one grabbed my eye. I thought, I definitely want some of that. So once again, in my semi-retired state, I found out who the manufacturer was, contacted them and said, oi, you ever heard of me? You might have done, and we'd love to distribute your product. Cut a very long story short, Gary, weeks and weeks later, in fact a month and a bit later, we ended up with a carry cage for the IC705.
I know, and it is absolutely brilliant.
You love it, don't you?
Yeah, it's so well made. It's lovely. It's lovely. It's very reminiscent because both Martin and I are really keen on cameras, and and not only is there computer wars in the office, there's camera wars.
Camera wars.
So it's quite funny, but it's very reminiscent of the small rig. If any of you guys out there listening that are familiar with cameras and the cages that bolt on, it's very similar to a small rig type affair, and it is so well made. And it looks the absolute.
It does. I actually showed it off, Gary, on Saturday on the live webcast that you were shadowing for me, and I showed it. And what I do like about it is that it is made out of solid aluminium, billet aluminium. It's all black anodized. It basically wraps, I've got to try and describe it because I realise a lot of you are listening to the podcast rather than watching us. It wraps around, it's a frame that bolts onto the 705, and if you were to drop it, you're almost certainly going to protect it. It has got grab handles on the side that are removable, but if you leave them on, it protrudes further than the highest point out from the front panel of the 705, which of course the tuning knob, as it always is, so if you did drop it flat down, providing it's on a flat surface, it's going to hit the deck on the handles.
We'd like to hasten to add there are no guarantees.
No, there isn't. I'm just saying it's a bit like, it's a bit like buying a bumper or a case for your phone.
Yeah.
You know, and you know me and phones, it's another fad of mine to speak to my wife, or indeed Jennifer, or indeed anybody that knows me even half well. I'm equipment mad because I love new products, not because they earn me a few shekels, but I just love new products, if they're good ones. So with a phone case, you can protect it, but if you're unlucky, you'll smash it up. But you really, this is a work of art. And if you see one, I mean, when I showed it off on Saturday, I can't tell you how many we sold Saturday afternoon. And they should be with us in about 2 weeks, but I won't say that because it'll be out of date if someone listens to this in a month's time. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Tips on what not to say on a podcast.
It's all good. It's all good. Right.
Okay.
The other thing is, I'll throw a little curveball. How do you think the live thing's going? Is it? You enjoying that? Is it?
Yeah. Well, I've only done it a few times, but I know Jonathan loves it. I know when I've dragged you into it, it's not just fun. It just, as a lot of customers say and people watching, it makes them feel like they're part of what what's going on in the store. And I have to say that does give me a smile, because that's what we try and do. And the fact that you can live comment whilst the live stream's going on Saturdays, incidentally, every Saturday. Yes, I was a little bit late this week. I think it was 1:15, but I'm not generally in all day Saturday these days. Yes, I was this time. And I thought, I've got to do that. I've got to do this, haven't I? Oh, Christ, now what do I do? And I ran around and got a few bits and pieces. But no, I think it's good. And I love people coming on and commenting, because I can say hello and, oh, yes, hello, what about this? What about that? So, no, I think it's working, Gary. And again, get any comments, you want to say anything, email me or any of the chaps, or better still, come up on Saturday afternoon when we put the podcast, put the live stream weekend webcast, we call it.
All right, brilliant. Well, talking of comments, I've set up a little email for the podcast. So what we can do is we'll put that in the show notes. What that will be. We'll get that just sorted out. So probably after this week, we'll start doing that a little bit more. So that we can maybe interact a little bit more with the listeners. Yeah, it is. Okay. I think so. It'll be good. So what else we got? We got a whole list of questions to whiz through. The other thing is, one of the things that's been asked quite a lot just lately at work was something.
You asked a lot of things at work, Gary.
I know.
He gets questions thrown at him every minute of the day.
But it's okay. But this one was comes up quite often, and it was how to connect the LAN, how to create a LAN server with the 9700, the ICOM IC 9700.
What I've done is
I've done a whole walkthrough for that, which will be on our webpage on the 9700 page as soon as I've actually got the last bit sort of sorted. I've got to get some final photographs done for the connections, and that will be going up. So any of you guys out there that are having trouble setting that up, this is just a very basic walkthrough.
Gary's fault.
Yeah, there's about sort of 15 pages of it, but it is very, very basic and walks you through each step and tells you how to set it up. So hopefully that will work for some of you guys. What do you reckon? We move on to some of the questions?
Well, I just noticed somebody that said, I love the way this gentleman's phrased this, and he sounds like he's old school, maybe like me. Could your workshop replace the old capacitors in my much loved low HF225 receiver? This is the bit I like, without having my trousers pulled down over the price. Which I think is really, really funny. Although it does see Steve to cover in.
Yeah, I did actually speak to
what did he
Richard.
say?
Well, I spoke to Richard in the office, who had spoken to Steve, and I think Steve was quite reluctant to play with it, mainly because it's got it's nothing to do with the fact that he couldn't fix it, but it's the ongoing warranty. If they disturb something else and it doesn't work, that sort of thing, it can become.
I'm always split on stuff like this because the low HF225 was a genius design, as indeed it went off to be the HF150, and they had the Europa and goodness knows what else. A British designer, radio amateur I might add, who worked for Low Electronics or subcontracted himself to Low Electronics. And there's certain old pieces of kit that I like to see maintained. The HF225 is one of them. The problem is, if and when we get involved, which we generally don't on the older gear, is from a warranty point of view. And that is the problem. If we repair it and then we send it out and something else goes wrong, we're just chasing our tails. There is definitely a market for somebody out there, maybe working from home, that wants to earn himself some extra money, that's good on while working on the older kit. So there you go. There's an invite for somebody. If you think, I can do that. I used to fit. Please do, because there is a market. And I'll also add that if there's someone out there that wants to take up that mantle, I'd be very happy to list them on our website as someone that can do that. No fee. I don't want any. I'll ear Martin. There's a £5. Thanks for sending me that. See, I'm not going to make any money out of it. So I think I need to lie down, actually. I've just said I'm not making any money out of it. No, seriously. So there it is. That's why we try not to get involved in the old gear. And I have to say, and when we have done recently, we have got our fingers burnt again. It's usually with customers that I've dealt with for 30, 40 years. I was like, oh, go on, do it for them. And oh my God, it causes all sorts. It can cause all. So rather than disappoint and run up a great big bill, I mean, how much is a 225 worth now? I don't know. I do actually, but that's not for discussion here. So but I love the question without having my trousers pulled down. I hope you do get your answer, whoever posted that question to us.
Right. Okay. So, what else we got down on this very long list? It is really long.
Blimey, isn't it? What about is 4 meters still a thing? I noticed. You see that?
Well, 4 meters is still a thing, and now with that little Linitone is really, really sweet. I'm thinking about putting one in my. I don't normally put anything in my car, but that little Linitone, so tiny.
Well, you know they make a 10-metre version of that as well, and the reason I know that is on their website, which is a pretty obvious thing to say. But also the chap that I get at the top of our road to the Works, the HQ, is a tyre company. I won't say who, and parked outside is the manager's Suzuki Jeep thing. Whatever it is. Was it called a Jimny? That's a little Jimny. And it's a right wrecker, all painted green, hand painted with olive green paint. And he always leaves the windows open. Come rain or shine or rain, I don't know why. Maybe the windows don't wind up. And inside it, if you poke your nose in, as I did, because I'm nosy, because he's got a whip on the back of the car, CV whip, is a Anytone 10-metre rig, which again is weeny little thing, as indeed shown in Practical Wireless this month, of me holding the 4-metre one. But 79 quid, I mean, what an easy way of getting on 4-metre FM. I think it's only 15 watts, isn't it? But it's fantastic little beastie.
Yeah, I don't know what it's got in it to do it. They do get quite warm though. But for 79 quid, it's definitely a good starter. Yeah. But
I sorry, Gary, go ahead.
That's all right. But that guy with the Jimny, I know him reasonably well. I chitty chat to him. He drives that thing everywhere, and I mean miles.
I know he does, and he takes it off-roading, as you can see from the state of it.
Yeah, hundreds of miles.
It's got some good tyres on it, though. Wonder what that is.
Yeah, exactly.
So 4 meters, years and years ago, Wushen, as they actually should be called. I approached them many years ago. We were in the old premises and said, "Look, you do this 2 and 70 rig. Can you do a 2 and 4 meter rig?" And sure enough, they came back really quick and said, yes, would you like a sample? About a month later, we got a sample, and the rest is history. But we sold, I'm not exaggerating, thousands of them. And then I persuaded them to change another UV 960 or 50, whatever it was, now it's up to a 980, and change it from 62470 to 64270 instead of 10, so it was 106. And again, how many of those we sold? So 4 meters is still a thing. And watch this space, because I will be on 4 meter SSB, and I haven't been on 4 meter SSB for about 30 years, so I'm looking forward to getting back on the band, which I understand is a lot quieter for obvious reasons than when I was on 40 years ago, whenever it was. Okay, so yes, 4 meters is still a thing in answer to the question.
Okay, brilliant. Well, what else we got down here? A lot of people are saying that they really enjoy the podcasts, and I'm pleased to hear that. And they're sort of saying that it's quite easy going, and it's quite sort of friendly sort of banter, and that's kind of what we wanted. We didn't want to try and make it too sort of silly, if at all, and just make it, after all, we're just hams, just chitty chatting, which I think is quite good. So thanks. I will add that.
I will add. I'll tell you what, listeners. I will add, listeners. What Uncle Gary's been saying to me, Martin, no hard sell. Martin, no. Now, have I ever hard sold anything? I mean, listen. So I haven't. I've actually mentioned the cage, but I haven't sold it. It's not that sort of thing, and I don't. If you don't want to buy it, great. If you don't want to buy it, fine. So no hard sell. It's a very different way. And I also I've seen loads of comments recently. Somebody sent you the other day about it's fantastic that I can listen on Apple Play, or I don't know. Sorry, mate. I don't know what the Apple terminology is, but he can listen on his Apple thing with his earpods. By the way, don't wear them. Apple pods, but don't wear them when you get big, because you might end up swallowing them.
Yeah, exactly.
But he was really happy that he could do that.
Right. Well, as I say, and also I've got to say hello to Tom Tom R. I'll call you that. And he just said he's just back from work, and he's just saying that he loves the magnificence of my beard. Well, it's gone.
Oh, it's
Tom.
gone. Did you notice, listeners? Did you notice that Gary's bushy beard? I wandered in this morning and I said, "Oh, hello, the bushy beard's gone." I said, "What's happening?" He said, "Oh, isn't it lovely when you shave your beard off? Isn't it a lovely?" And he's rubbing his chops like this. And I said, "Oh yeah." I didn't go up to him and do this to him.
Yeah,
you can hear that
well,
on the radio. And actually, talking of shaving your beard off, Gary, leads me nicely into a very old, he's not old, a long-standing customer of mine, Jim. You know who you are, Jim. James FM, I'll say to you. I won't say your call sign. He emailed in and said, "Any news on the Icon PW2? And I went away and found out. That's one thing. And I found out and I emailed him back. And yes, it is happening, but it has been delayed genuinely because of COVID. But the second email I got from him on Saturday, I mean, it is quite hilarious, actually. And bear with me because I am going to actually read it out. This is after seeing me doing the live web feed, weekend webcast on Saturday. He said, "Hi, the XYL came into the shack, looked at the screen of the PC," you ready for this? Yeah. Looked at the PC and said, "What on earth is that under Martin's nose?" And there's a picture of a nose, little imagery of a nose, imagery. And he said, "By God," she said, "that makes him look 20 years older." Christ, I'm old enough that it is. "Take her advice and get rid of it." Well, for Mrs. Molt, and indeed my wife Jennifer, I told Jenny that on Saturday, and she said, "I completely agree. You look completely ridiculous." So it's gone. Yeah, it's gone. This is not. It's all. Thank you, and I take the hint. So it's gone. No, you said anything when I wandered in this afternoon, did you? Didn't say, "Oh, hello, I see the dead caterpillar disappear from your top." Okay.
We then. You'd probably beat us with a stick.
I wouldn't. Hello, why am I 50 quid short on my wage packet? Oh, I know.
Punishment.
Punishment,
right.
Yeah.
Anyway, and on that note, I think, do you reckon we should round this up? I think we're have we near our 30 minutes?
I have no idea. Actually, yeah, 28 minutes with about 10 minutes of wrong uns. Yes, thank you very much for inviting me on your show, Gary.
That's all right. You're welcome.
I have enjoyed it. I'm sorry if it hasn't been anywhere near as professional as the young old hand in brackets, Jonathan. He will possibly be allowed back next week or the week after if I let him. No, I will. Yeah. And thank you for all your patronage. Oh, there's two more things very quickly because it isn't 30 minutes yet. I did mention it on the podcast, and this is ongoing. We are still looking for another bench engineer. Am I allowed to do this? But okay.
Yeah, you are.
We are looking for a bench engineer. If you're an RF bench engineer used to working to component level, please give us a call or look on the website under recruitment. And also we're looking for more Saturday help. So if you're out there twiddling your thumbs, live locally, no amateur radio, any part of amateur radio, all of it, pop in and you can't pop in a chat, give us a call, send us an email, introduce yourself, because we need more Saturday help. The reason we need more Saturday help is people like Gary, Jonathan, Tony and all the rest of them, it allows them to have the extra odd Saturday off. So bench engineer, thanks, Gary says, bench engineer and indeed Saturday help. That's it.
And on that note,
thank
you for listening.
Goodbye.
See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.